So I just want to flag and talk about our plans for data linkage because often we'll get asked these sorts of questions. And so, firstly, just to say that we plan and are working towards linkage of the Oxford COVID-19 government response tracker data. I'll share a little more information in that space in a minute. And then we're also asking for consent from students themselves for linkage to the Australian Early Development Census data, which was collected of every child who was in school in 2008, and it happens to correspond to this cohort, NAPLAN, and also senior secondary subjects. But if there are other linkages that you would like, particularly if they're easily implemented at the school or area level, then we can certainly consider those. So approach us with ideas. As I mentioned, the COVID-19 government response tracker provides information about public health and social measures. There's variation between states and territories, and also within state, comparing the major city to government. So it gives you a bit of a flavour for people's experiences, and it's collected on a daily basis. So there's a bit of work involved in moving from moving towards linking the data because of the date element to it. But this just gives you a bit of a sense of the variation that we will be able to capture and collect and make available to you. In terms of overall levels of policy stringency, you can see that Victoria and New South Wales have the greatest amount of strict levels of policy stringency. And if you look at school closures, so one's just basic cleaning, two is some level of closure, and three is all schools being closed. And so you can see here that Victoria in particular, there was high levels of school closures across that period, and that may well have implications for learning outcomes. So we need to capture that. New South Wales less so, but just important to note that information. Just a couple of notes. It's Wave 2 survey methodology. So in Wave 1, we're really talking about a census-based approach, but then we also ask students to indicate whether they'd be prepared to be recontacted, and we're narrowing our focus down to a subset of students. We had hoped to have a larger number of participants from Wave 1 from which to choose from to be able to oversample equity groups, but that wasn't possible. But it's essentially is a mixed mode survey that's been implemented where we have online data collection first and then CADI, about 30 minutes in length. We're asking for linkage consent, and we have an incentive to participate in Wave 2, not for Wave 1, primarily because of the overall costs associated with doing so with 40,000 students. In terms of the big ticket items in Wave 2 to look forward to, so one of the things that we hope will be releasing in the first half of next year will be information about the Big Five personality, measure of personality. So, and that's in a standardized report that we provided to all students as well, except neuroticism measure, if you're looking at that. And that measure of the Big Five personality is one that was implemented in the OECD survey of social skills and also in PISA as well. So there's comparability there.